To save her family, she said. Yes. Next was unexpected. The Harmony Station hung like a crystalline jewel against the backdrop of the Orion Nebula, its transparent dome reflecting the swirling cosmic colors of blues, purples, and hints of emerald green. Inside, Dr. Kira Solarin stood perfectly still, her dark skin contrasting sharply with the pristine white diplomatic uniform she had been instructed to wear for this most unusual of ceremonies. She was not a bride by choice, but by calculation. The Tyrian Collective, a species of bioluminescent humanoids with skin that shifted colors like living opals, had been on the brink of declaring war against human colonies along the Outer Rim. Decades of territorial disputes, resource conflicts, and cultural misunderstandings had pushed both civilizations to the razor's edge of destruction. And now, she was to be the bridge. Prince Zoran approached, his form shimmering with an iridescent blue that slowly melded into deep emerald green. A color pattern she had learned indicated complex emotional states. The diplomatic records she had studied suggested this color transition meant nervousness, perhaps even a hint of vulnerability. Dr. Solarin. His voice was a melodic resonance that seemed to vibrate through the air itself. I trust the preparations have been to your satisfaction. Kira turned, her carefully maintained professional demeanor betraying nothing of the internal turmoil she felt. She had spent years studying Tyrian culture, their intricate social structures and complex biological communication systems. This marriage was more than a personal commitment. It was a diplomatic strategy designed to prevent a war that could destroy millions of lives. Prince Zoran, she responded, matching his formal tone. I understand the significance of our arrangement. The Great Hall of the Harmony Station was filled with delegates from both human and Tyrian governments. Holographic representatives from distant star systems observed the proceedings, their translucent forms casting soft light across the marble-like floor. Their marriage was unprecedented, not just because of the interspecies nature, but because of the delicate political balance it represented. Kira was not a random selection. She was a carefully chosen xenoanthropologist with deep expertise in Tyrian culture. Her research had been instrumental in developing the framework for this diplomatic union. Zoran's skin continued its mesmerizing color shift, now incorporating threads of silver, which she knew represented intellectual calculation. You do not seem pleased, he observed, his large almond-shaped eyes, entirely black with tiny silver flecks, studying her intently. Pleasure is a luxury diplomacy rarely affords, Kira replied, her chin lifting slightly. Our union serves a greater purpose. A subtle ripple of amber, a color signifying amusement, passed across Zoran's skin. Direct, precisely why the diplomatic council selected you. The ceremony was a blend of human and Tyrian traditions. Elaborate holographic projections created a landscape that merged elements of both civilizations. Towering crystal spires reminiscent of Tyrian architecture, intertwined with sweeping natural landscapes from Earth. Delegates from a dozen star systems watched in hushed anticipation. As they approached the central platform, Kira felt the weight of generations of conflict resting upon this moment. Tyrians communicated as much through color and biological resonance as through spoken language. Her extensive training had prepared her for the physical and cultural nuances of this union, but nothing could fully prepare her for the personal transformation this would demand. Zoran extended his hand, a gesture of human origin he had deliberately chosen. His skin rippled with a complex pattern of blue and silver, broadcasting a mixture of professional respect and underlying curiosity. Are you ready, Dr. Solarin? He asked, a hint of something unexpected lurking beneath his formal tone. Was it a challenge? Genuine inquiry? Or something else entirely? Kira placed her hand in his, feeling the subtle electromagnetic pulse that characterized Tyrian skin contact. I am prepared, she responded, her voice steady. As the ceremony began, neither of them could predict the profound journey that awaited them, a path that would challenge everything they understood about diplomacy, love, and the intricate dance between two vastly different civilizations. The diplomatic vessel Horizon Bridge cut through the star-speckled darkness, its advanced quantum drive humming with a soft, almost imperceptible vibration. Inside the main living quarters, Kira stood before the expansive view screen, her reflection partially overlaid against the infinite cosmic backdrop. 3 standard months had passed since the ceremonial union, and their relationship remained a carefully negotiated diplomatic dance. Zoran entered the room, his skin shifting through a complex gradient of blues and silvers that she had learned to interpret. Today, the colors spoke of contemplation and a hint of underlying tension. "We will be arriving at the contested Meridian colonies within the next 6 standard hours," he announced, his melodic voice filling the sterile compartment. Kira turned, her dark eyes meeting his entirely black ones. "The negotiations will be challenging," she replied, her fingers unconsciously tracing the delicate communication band on her wrist, a device that helped her interpret the subtle biological signals of Tyrian communication. Their living arrangements were a testament to their diplomatic mission. Separate sleeping chambers, carefully negotiated personal spaces, and a shared workspace that served as both their professional and personal intersection. It was a physical manifestation of their marriage, close yet maintaining carefully established boundaries. "The Meridian conflict is more complex than the diplomatic briefs suggest," Zoran said, his skin rippling with a pattern of deep green and silver, a color combination she had come to recognize as analytical concern. "The resource disputes are merely a surface manifestation of deeper cultural misunderstandings." Kira moved to the holographic display, her fingers dancing across the projected star charts. Layers of geological data, resource distribution maps, and cultural demographic information flickered to life. "The mineral-rich asteroids in the Meridian sector are just the beginning," she murmured. "Both human and Tyrian colonies have been pushing territorial boundaries for decades." A soft chime interrupted their discussion, the ship's communication system activated, projecting a holographic message from the diplomatic corps. The translucent figure of Ambassador Elena Rodriguez materialized between them, her expression grave. "Dr. Solarin, Prince Zoran," she began, her voice tight with barely contained stress. "New intelligence suggests that certain factions within both the human and Tyrian governments are actively working to undermine the peace negotiations." Zoran's skin immediately shifted to a deep crimson, a color Kira knew represented intense anger and defensive preparedness. "Explain," he demanded, his melodic voice dropping to a lower resonance that seemed to vibrate through the ship's very structure. The holographic ambassador outlined a complex web of political manipulations. Certain military leaders and corporate interests stood to gain significantly from continued conflict. Their diplomatic marriage was becoming more than just a symbolic gesture. It was now a critical linchpin in preventing potential interstellar war. As the briefing concluded, Kira felt the weight of their responsibility more acutely than ever. She glanced at Zoran, noting how his skin had begun to stabilize, a mix of silver and deep blue indicating strategic thinking. "We need to be more than just a diplomatic symbol," she said quietly. "We need to be a genuine partnership." Zoran's skin rippled with a fascinating blend of colors, surprise, curiosity, and something that might have been the Tyrian equivalent of respect. "A partnership," he repeated, the word carrying a weight beyond its simple pronunciation. Their first genuine moment of connection came unexpectedly. As the ship approached the Meridian sector, a sudden gravitational anomaly struck. Alarms blared, and the vessel lurched violently. Without thinking, Kira reached out, her hand finding Zoran's. Their touch triggered an unexpected biological response, a harmonic resonance that seemed to stabilize the ship's quantum drive. For a brief moment, their eyes met. Something shifted between them, an understanding that transcended their diplomatic arrangement. The horizon bridge steadied, continuing its journey through the vast, unforgiving darkness of space. But something had changed. The carefully constructed walls between Kira and Zoran had developed their first visible crack. Their real journey was just beginning. The Meridian colony sprawled across a massive asteroid network, a labyrinth of interconnected habitats and mining platforms suspended in the void. As the horizon bridge docked, Kira felt the subtle change in atmospheric pressure, a reminder of the delicate balance they were about to negotiate. Zoran's skin had been a constant canvas of muted grays and silvers since their arrival, broadcasting a state of heightened alertness that even the most inexperienced xenoanthropologist could read. The diplomatic summit was more than a mere meeting. It was a potential turning point for two civilizations teetering on the brink of conflict. Their first day of negotiations was a masterclass in diplomatic tension. The conference chamber, a massive geodesic dome that allowed a full view of the surrounding asteroid fields, became a battlefield of carefully chosen words and strategic pauses. Human representatives from the Colonial Mining Consortium sat on one side, their corporate uniforms a stark contrast to the flowing iridescent robes of the Tyrian delegation. Kira and Zoran sat at the center, a physical manifestation of their diplomatic union. The mineral extraction rates proposed by the human colonial board are unsustainable, Zoran stated, his voice a melodic resonance that seemed to vibrate through the chamber. His skin shifted to a deep emerald green, a color Kira had learned represented intellectual challenge. Your proposed mining techniques would irreparably damage the quantum resonance fields unique to this sector. Director Marcus Reyes, a weathered veteran of colonial expansion, leaned forward. These are unproven theoretical concerns. We're talking about resources critical to interstellar infrastructure. Kira chose that moment to intervene. She activated a holographic display, projecting detailed geological and quantum ecological data. Years of research crystallized in this moment. The quantum resonance fields are not just environmental curiosities, she explained, her voice calm and authoritative. They represent a complex ecosystem that regulates gravitational stability in this entire sector. The room fell silent. Zoran's skin rippled with a fascinating blend of colors, silver threads of intellectual pride intertwining with deep blue tones of strategic satisfaction. Their preparation, their research, their very partnership was being tested in this crucible of interstellar diplomacy. But diplomacy was never simple. That evening, in the privacy of their assigned diplomatic quarters, the carefully maintained facade began to crack. Zoran moved to the observation window, his skin cycling through colors that spoke of frustration and deep contemplation. The human representatives understand the economic arguments, he said, but they fail to comprehend the deeper ecological implications. Kira approached, noting the intricate way his bioluminescent skin responded to her proximity. Cultural translation is more than just converting words, she responded. It's about creating shared understanding. A sudden alert interrupted their conversation. The station's emergency systems flashed a deep crimson. A massive gravitational anomaly was developing in the asteroid network. Years of diplomatic tension were about to be tested in ways no one could have predicted. As alarms blared and station personnel rushed to their emergency stations, Kira and Zoran exchanged a look of mutual understanding. This was more than a diplomatic mission now. This was about survival. The quantum resonance fields Kira had described were destabilizing. If they couldn't find a solution quickly, the entire Meridian colony, human and Tyrian alike, would be destroyed. Zoran's hand found hers, a gesture that was becoming less calculated and more instinctive with each passing moment. His skin blazed, with a complex pattern of silver and deep blue, broadcasting both intellectual calculation and an emotion that was beginning to transcend their diplomatic arrangement. "We solve this together," he said, his melodic voice carrying a weight of determination that resonated through the station. Kira squeezed his hand, feeling the subtle electromagnetic pulse that characterized Tyrian skin contact. "Together," she agreed. The emergency control center of the Meridian colony pulsed with controlled chaos. Holographic displays flickered with increasingly unstable readings, showing the progressive destabilization of the asteroid network's gravitational fields. Kira stood at the central console, her fingers dancing across quantum stabilization algorithms while Zoran coordinated with both human and Tyrian scientific teams. "The quantum resonance cascade is accelerating," Zoran announced, his skin cycling. through intense patterns of silver and deep crimson, a visual representation of critical stress and analytical focus. We have approximately 2 standard hours before complete gravitational collapse. Director Marcus Reyes, who had been their primary opponent during earlier negotiations, now stood shoulder to shoulder with the Tyrian lead scientist. The potential destruction of the entire colony had a way of rendering previous diplomatic tensions obsolete. Kira's communication band, a sophisticated device that translated both verbal and biological communication, hummed with incoming data streams. "The initial hypothesis is correct," she said, turning to Zoran. "The asteroid network isn't just a collection of mineral-rich rocks. It's a living quantum ecosystem." Zoran's skin shifted to a remarkable shade of iridescent blue, a color she had come to recognize as profound scientific revelation. "The minerals aren't just resources," he completed her thought. "They're a complex quantum neural network. Their minds worked in perfect synchronization, a testament to the diplomatic and personal connection they had been developing. What had begun as a carefully arranged marriage was now a genuine partnership of intellect and purpose. The solution, when it crystallized, was both elegant and dangerous. They would need to use the unique biological resonance between Kira and Zoran, a quantum entanglement that had been developing since their union, to stabilize the asteroid network's quantum fields. "It's never been attempted," the Tyrian lead scientist warned. "The biological quantum interface between different species is theoretical at best." Kira met Zoran's entirely black eyes. No words were necessary. They both understood the risk and the potential. The procedure required them to be connected to a massive quantum interface, their biological and neural patterns serving as a stabilizing mechanism for the entire asteroid network. It was part scientific intervention, part almost mystical quantum communication. As they prepared, Zoran's hand found hers. His skin was a complex tapestry of colors, silver threads of intellectual preparation intertwined with deep blue tones of emotional connection. "Are you ready?" he asked, his melodic voice carrying a depth of meaning that transcended mere words. Kira squeezed his hand. "Together," she responded. The quantum interface hummed to life. Holographic tendrils of energy began to weave around them, creating a cocoon of quantum potential. The entire control center watched in a mixture of scientific anticipation and barely contained fear. Something extraordinary happened. As their quantum signatures merged, the unstable asteroid network began to stabilize. It was as if their combined biological resonance was speaking a language the universe itself could understand. Gravitational fields smoothed, quantum fluctuations settled, and the very fabric of space seemed to take a collective breath. Hours passed in what felt like moments. When they finally disconnected from the quantum interface, the control center erupted in a mixture of human cheers and Tyrian harmonic resonances of celebration. They had done the impossible. Zoran's skin was a soft, glowing amber, a color of profound emotional revelation. Their connection was no longer just a diplomatic arrangement. It had become something far more complex, far more profound. As the emergency passed and the first reports of complete stabilization came in, Kira realized their marriage had transformed, from a political strategy to something neither of them could have predicted. A true partnership. A genuine connection. Outside the control center's massive windows, the asteroid network gleamed, a testament to the extraordinary potential of understanding, cooperation, and unexpected love. 6 months after the Meridian crisis, the diplomatic landscape of human and Tyrian relations had been irrevocably transformed. The Horizon Bridge, now a symbol of their unprecedented partnership, orbited the newly established Interspecies Diplomatic Research Station, a testament to what could be achieved when two civilizations truly understood one another. Kira stood in the station's primary observation deck, her fingers tracing the intricate quantum communication interface that she and Zoran had co-developed. The device represented more than just technological innovation. It was a physical manifestation of their journey. Zoran approached, his skin a soft, warm amber that spoke of contentment and deep emotional connection. The color shifts that had once been a complex code to decipher were now as familiar to Kira as her own heartbeat. "The final diplomatic protocols are ready for review," he said, his melodic voice carrying a hint of something between professional pride and personal excitement. Their collaborative research had not only prevented a potential war but had opened up entirely new avenues of interspecies communication and understanding. The station around them was a marvel of collaborative design. Tyrian organic quantum architecture merged seamlessly with human technological precision. Delegates from dozens of star systems moved through the corridors, a living testament to the possibility of genuine cooperation. Their quarters reflected their unique partnership, personal spaces that were both distinctly individual and deeply interconnected. Kira's xenoanthropological research materials sat alongside Zoran's quantum ecological studies. Holographic displays showcased their joint publications, groundbreaking works that were rewriting understanding of interspecies communication and quantum ecology. A communication alert interrupted their moment of reflection. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez's holographic form materialized between them, her expression a mixture of official formality and genuine warmth. "The Galactic Diplomatic Council has approved your joint research proposal," she announced. "The Interspecies Quantum Communication Initiative will be fully funded. Your work at Meridian has changed everything." Zoran's skin rippled with a complex pattern of silver and deep blue, intellectual excitement intertwined with strategic satisfaction. Kira felt his hand find hers, their quantum communication bands creating a subtle, harmonic resonance. Their journey had been unprecedented. What began as a carefully arranged diplomatic marriage had become something far more profound. They had not just prevented a war, they had created an entirely new model of interspecies understanding. That evening, they stood together in their private observation deck. The vast cosmic tapestry stretched before them, countless stars, nebulae, and the infinite possibilities of the universe. "When we first met," Kira said softly, "this was all just a political arrangement." Zoran's skin shifted to a warm, intimate amber, a color that now spoke of love in ways no formal language could express. "And now?" he asked, his melodic voice carrying a depth of emotion that transcended words. Kira turned to him, their quantum communication bands creating a subtle, beautiful harmonic resonance. "Now," she responded, "this is home." Outside, the stars continued their ancient dance. The horizon bridge maintained its orbit, a beacon of hope and possibility. Two civilizations that had once stood on the brink of destruction now stood united, their greatest strength found in their differences. Their story was more than a diplomatic success. It was a testament to the extraordinary potential of understanding, connection, and love across any distance, any difference. The universe watched and listened,